Hey guys, still Tuesday, and I have semi-survived inputting information for my taxes. But the joy of being a small business is that I get to employ a little bit of creative accounting. And I don't mean fraud, I don't mean anything terrible or lying or nothing like that. What's interesting about small business accounting is the fact that we get to write off certain things. But of course, that makes obviously our income smaller, which is really bad if you're trying to qualify for a house or a car or anything that you will need proof of actual income for. The problem is that if you have a higher income, you have to pay more taxes. So it's a double-edged sword because I have all my stuff written off, beautifully done, and I'm like, well, I owe a little bit. I always owe some, always, because I don't pay too much in scheduled taxes because I don't want the government to hold my money. But if you fall below a certain thing, you don't qualify for certain additional tax credits, which I kind of depend on some of those tax credits, if you know what I mean. So I'm like, ugh. I am not happy with the crunch numbers. Plus, I know that hopefully soon to be in the future, I want to buy a house. So I'm like, okay, I have to figure out how to get a higher income number without making the taxes that I owe unaffordable. And it's kind of like pay for the pain now so that you can qualify for a better loan in the future, or don't pay as much in taxes and then have to fight to possibly even get qualified for a loan. Because I look at the numbers like your income is blah blah blah, and I'm like, that's not worth all the effort I put in. And then like I have to be realistic and be like, actually I brought in more than that. It's just that as a small business, I have expenses. I wish our credit system was different so that we could be like, here is the income I brought in. But I have the availability to write off these things to save myself money to keep a business going, which, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. So it's funny because I was like, I just want to get this done. And then I was like, I am an idiot. Who on earth starts crunching numbers for taxes before the middle of a Mercury retrograde? Like, who does that? Like me, I do that. Today was a paperwork day, so I was trying to get all the paperwork done that I could, and I was like, I gotta do my tax. I have to do my taxes. Now I have to redo my taxes. Call a few of my accounting friends and be like, hey, if I want an apartment or a condo or a house in 3 to 5 years, what's going to be better for me? Because I don't mind paying a little more in taxes if it's going to get me into, at least a condo, preferably a homestead, but you got to work with what you got. So don't think that taxes are bad for certain people. Taxes are bad for everyone. And it's important to honor the Mercury retrograde spirit by not screwing things up. Mercury retrograde is meant for focus and detailed research, specifically research. So this actually works out well. I don't have to file, obviously, till April 15th. So I have some time to do some research on how I can balance the taxes that I owe versus the income that anyone who lends anyone money is going to want to see. So I have this opportunity to research, which is great. But it would have been really, really bad if I had to have it done by tomorrow. That would have been very bad. So remember that it isn't a smack on the hand, don't do that, even though it feels like it. It's a reminder to focus, pay attention to all the details, and then move forward after a period of waiting time. That is what retrograde is for. Do your research on interesting things. They don't say don't sign contracts. They recommend, because even though we can be super focused and detail oriented, it's still very easy to miss things. And that is why travel arrangements are not recommended to be made in this time. Which is funny, I wasn't even thinking about it. My family was talking a few days ago about planning summer vacation, and nobody could agree on anything. And I was like, this is weird. There's a reason this is weird. So we haven't planned anything yet. And we probably won't for a little bit. But the idea that if you do enter into contracts and agreements and sign anything during Mercury retrograde, that you need to be flexible when changes arise, okay? The idea of flowing through change, which is not me, so I'm not signing anything. Flexible through changes. If you are good at being flexible with changes, this would be an opportune time to build a partnership and start something new. Absolutely. But I know that that's not me, like at all. So this is not a time that would be beneficial for me unless it is meant as a learning experience. So I learned my lesson, and I just kind of want to shout out to other people that even though typically Mercury is focused on communication, that communication involves everything. Like it really does. Silent communication, avoidance communication, autism, amazing communication. Communication is interlinked with so much of life, whether we realize it or not. This is a time to highlight that and appreciate it. But I do not recommend filing your taxes. Start your taxes. If you're a small business, do a little research. Figure out how to crunch your numbers properly. Ask for help. Never be ashamed to ask for help. And then move forward, right? After doing your research, giving it a time to wait, move forward. I love you guys. I hope that my amusing tax story reminds us that there is a time and place for everything. And you'll know. Just like I was like, I don't really want to do taxes today, but I've got to get something started. It was good that I got it started because now I know that there are things that I need to change, even if it means pay.